As we get into higher levels of math, it is important that we're able to factor efficiently because now it will be the first step of a more complex problem, not the only part of the problem. And so although the diamond and box method works every time, it takes too long if it's the first part of a longer problem. I'm going to show you how to just figure it out by thinking about it, and it will be frustrating and take some patience as you learn, but then it will click and it will save you so much time and be so much easier. We're going to start by factoring 2x squared plus 11x plus 5. This is considered an easy factoring problem because it's 2x squared, the 2 is prime, and 5, the 5 is prime. That means the only things that multiply to get 2x squared are 2x and x. The only things that multiply to get 5 are 5 and 1. The only question is, does the 5 and 1 go where I just put them, or are they in flip-flopped positions? We're going to check now to see if we get the 11x that we want. If you multiply the 5 and the x and the 2 and the 2x and the 1, you'll get 5x and 2x for a total of 7x, or a difference of 3x. Neither of those is the 11x we're looking for. Therefore, we must have flip-flopped the 5 and the 1. So we're going to flip-flop them and test it again. Now we get 1 times x, which is 1x, and we get 2x times 5, which is 10x, for a total of 11x. Therefore, they must both be positive to get that positive 11x we're looking for, and when you multiply the 5 and 1, the positive 5 at the end that we're looking for. We're now going to check that it works using an area model. We'll get 2x squared, which we knew we would get because we intentionally chose the 2x and the x. We'll get a 5 because we intentionally chose the 1 and the 5. But we had to figure out where that 1 and the 5 went so that when you combine the 10x and x, you actually do get the 11x. This problem took a little while because it was the first one and we wrote out all of our thinking, but it will be really fast in your head once you practice enough. We're going to head to the next problem, x squared minus 6x plus 8. X squared must be x times x, but 8 could be 4 times 2 or 8 times 1. I'm logically going to choose 4 and 2 because I can already tell that that's going to be 6, and if I make them both negative, then it will give me negative 6. Let's also test this with an area model. We would get x squared and positive 8. Again, we intentionally chose those values, so that's no surprise. But here we would get the negative 4x, and here the negative 2x. That in total would give us negative 6x. You can also see it here. There's negative 4x and there's negative 2x for a total of negative 6x. Finally, these problems will get harder when the numbers are not prime. For example, in purple on the bottom right of the screen, I've put 4x squared plus 22x plus 10. Neither 4x nor 10 are prime, so you've got to do lots of testing of different possibilities in your head. So 4x could be 4x times x or 2x times 2x. In your head or just on scratch paper while you're learning, you would try both of those options. 10 could be 10 times 1 or 5 times 2. You'd have to test all those options until the sum becomes 22x to get the correct factoring. Before you actually do that, though, I would recognize in this particular problem that all of them are even, so you could factor a 2 out at the very beginning, making this so much easier. In fact, if you factor a 2 out, you would get the problem we did at the beginning. So your final answer would be the answer we got from the beginning times a 2 in the front. So recognize when you can make it easier for yourself. If you can't factor anything out at the beginning, you just try all the possibilities until you find the one that works. Be patient, force yourself to practice. This will get easier, and then you'll be a much faster factor, which is important in higher level math.